So I know we still have people coming in. It's a lunchtime meeting, so I figured that people would just come in as they can. But thank you all for attending the National Black MBA DFW chapters webinar today, the corporate entrepreneur, balancing a corporate career and business ownership. We do have our wonderful speaker today, Nicolette Barrett, on the call, and she's going to give us an awesome presentation that really is going to be informative, I think, to us all on how we can potentially balance a corporate and be a corporate entrepreneur and provide balance. We're going to go over the agenda. So next we have the agenda. So first, we'd like to welcome all of you today. We really appreciate you taking out the time to attend this during your lunch break. I know there's a lot of things that you could be doing, so we really appreciate you being here today, and we hope that this event is beneficial to you in your journey or provides insight that can either help you or help someone that you know. Just want to really talk about the purpose for a second. As you guys probably know, for years, there's been a debate on whether you need to be, especially in the Black community, on whether you need to be a worker and be an employee, or if you needed to be an entrepreneur, right? There's always this, you need to be self-employed, or you need to work, or the man, all these different debates that that we have in our community. But I think that COVID has taught us that if nothing else, COVID has taught us that it doesn't always have to be that way. A lot of dreams have come out of COVID, even before then, but I think COVID had a way to like re-engage and reignite a lot of people to connect with talents. Working from home has allowed people to see their passions and work on them, and a lot of them have flourished. So now it's a great opportunity to say, okay, what do I have? Do I have to choose between my corporate career and my entrepreneurship or my side hustle, or can my side hustle become my full-time? So there's a lot of different conversations that can be held in this space. And I know there's the great resignation that occurred, that is occurring or has occurred as a result of COVID. But we just want to touch base on how you can possibly have both and how to do that successfully. I do have a few statistics here that I want to share with you guys. So from the Small Business Association, statistically, well, in general, from Business Insider, statistically, entrepreneurs have 4 times as much wealth as workers. So that's just in general, but from UNC Charlotte Urban Institute, I have my notes here. Black and Latino businesses have been found to have 10 times as much income as those same Black and Latino people who do not have businesses. So those statistics that says that there are reasons to have a business, whether it's on the side, whether it's your full-time business, wherever it is, there are statistics that support that. We also know that about 25% of businesses fail in the first year. So with those statistics, we need to make sure that we're preparing ourselves to be as successful as we can. If we know that having a business and being an entrepreneur and being a corporate employee can provide success. And that's why we have our wonderful guest speaker here today, Nicolette. If you can go to the next slide. Nicolette here has been doing a wonderful job. She is the Get Hired strategist. She has a lot of accolades, and I'll let her speak to those in a bit. But she has been managing being a corporate entrepreneur for about 8 years now. And she has done a wonderful job of managing both, being successful at a Fortune 500 company, 100 company.
39.
39.
We up there.
A Fortune 39 company, and running a successful business that is projected to grow astronomically this year and next year. So I'll let her speak to her accolades, but just want to introduce her and thank you, Nicolette, for being here. I think that the information that you have will be valuable to everyone on the call. And I'm excited to hear what you have to speak about. I do want to add that we will have question and answers at the end. but please feel free to provide your questions in the chat. So we'll be monitoring the chat. So put your questions in the chat, but we want to allow Nicolette to go through the presentation, hit all the points, and then we'll answer those questions at the end. So Nicolette, I think this is all on you. Feel free to brag about yourself and tell us all about your accolades.
Okay, I'm gonna do a quick overview, but thank you so much, Jessica, and to all of you all, the National MBA Association, for having me. And I am excited for this opportunity. I didn't know that this is of interest. I remember doing a live on the same topic, and that was one of my top most viewed lives that I did. Didn't think two things about it because I'm like, I just do this, but obviously it's just not, I just do this. And so therefore, I'm honored to be able to share my experience and how I am balancing both, because one of the things that I always get questions about is, why don't you just quit? But anyway, but I've been in corporate America for about 30 years, but at this current company for 28 years. And I've been in corporate leadership for 23 years for a Fortune 39 organization, a multi-billion-dollar organization. And it's a great company to work for. And so therefore, I've gained a lot of skills on that. And then I got bit by the bug about being an entrepreneur. Now, many of us have started other types of entrepreneur type of roles, right? I've done the Avon. I've been an Avon lady. I've been a Mary Kay seller, and I've also loved scrapbooking. And so I did scrapbooking with Creative Memories and did that. So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but didn't know that I had talents in my own self to be able to birth my company. It wasn't until we were going through a major change where we had to get a lot of people ready and developed and promoted and interview prepped, all this kind of stuff, ready for promotions within the organization because we were growing. And it was two of my employees that came back to me after they got $14,000 increases in their salary from a paraprofessional to a professional technical role. And they said, well, Miss Nicolette, you're pretty good at this. You need to start a business. I said, well, people pay for this? Well, like, I said, yeah. And I did it for fun for years, even when I was in the Chicago office and got people promoted. And I just love to write. And I use my talent of writing to make sure I'm blending those, the career. So that's how it actually started. They planted a seed. I put a little blurb out on social media, and I got a lot of people across the organization started saying, yeah, you helped me do this. And you know what, y'all? I got mad at them because they didn't even give me and Chicago's big with Dunkin' Donuts. You didn't even give me a Dunkin' Donuts gift card or even a Starbucks. Get all this money. Well, anyway, so after that, they started giving me all this social media proof. That's when the business began, because people started to inbox me about the business. And so therefore, that's how it started. People ask me, and I'm like, I have no idea what to charge. And I literally started charging enough to erase a bill. And that was my manicure and my pedicure. So I did that. So, and then all of a sudden, iRock Resumes was born. So I'm going to be mindful of my time, but that's how it started back May. And I actually formally launched it May 25th, 2014 in honor of my mom's birthday. And also, it was my 20th anniversary at the company. And that's when I started literally as a side gig. And as you all can see on LinkedIn, it has grown beyond that as well. And yes, I still work for corporate America. So I'll go on to the next one. Okay, so the first thing I really want you all to understand, everything I'm going to talk about is the things I learned after the fact. So my goal is to teach you what you need to do so you don't fall into the same traps that I did, because I had nobody teaching me anything. I read a lot. I did a lot of podcasts. I did a lot of all kinds of stuff, trying to figure it out for myself. And I learned a lot along the way. So one of the things I want you to really think about is your mindset. As you're thinking about birthing a side business, really getting serious about your side business, or actually really, if you're already serious, how do you leverage and grow it even more? So you have to think about, what do I want to do? So one of the things that I specifically did, I started out because I generally just wanted to make some extra income using my talent of writing resumes, because I was pretty good at it. I've always done it, did it in college. I was like the go-to person for that kind of stuff. So I literally just did it to start eliminating the bill. So when I started eliminating my bill for my manicure and pedicure, I said, oh, then it started growing. I said, well, maybe I could pay a light bill. Maybe I could pay this. So things start happening. And I'm like, okay, great. So you have to decide, What do you want to do as you work your full-time job? Do you want this just to have some extra income to actually fund something? One of my clients right now, she is doing her business. Well, she did her business for a couple of years, and she put her child through college, and that was her goal. Now that her child is done with college, she's now leveraging her success in doing something full time when she rolls off into retirement. So you got to think about that. So what do you want to do? Do you want your side hustle literally to just bring in extra income? So you have to think about, okay, so that's my mindset. It's just a side hustle. My job, my corporate career is my main thing. So that's what you're going to do. The next thing I want you to think about is, okay, so do I want to climb the corporate ladder? Now, here's why that's important. When you are having experiences in your organization, a lot of times the trainings and different things like that can become kind of like group thing. And so you're being trained to that organization. Why not use your entrepreneurial skill set and developing a business and becoming the CEO of that to help you climb the corporate ladder? Because you can talk about those experiences in an actual interview. So you could say, I want this side business to help me climb the corporate ladder. I'm going to learn these additional things. I'm going to learn about all of the different departments, because you will have to have a finance department. You're going to have an HR department. You're going to have your own learning and development department. This is all you now, by the way, because this is a side hustle. So you are all those departments. So you're going to be learning all those different areas on how you can leverage that and understand business acumen in order to climb the corporate ladder. And then you can speak to that when you're going for higher levels of opportunity within your organization. So that can be what you're going to do. Initially, I started doing that myself. And then as the business got good, I said, no more, pull me off. But anyway, so that's what I started doing, because then I can speak from a broader range of things. And I networked a lot, met a lot of people, started working with a lot of different leaders from other organizations, and I learned a lot. So therefore, it broadened my business acumen. And then I started saying, well, I got more stuff to talk about than what's happening up in here in this company. So therefore, it leveraged me and got me more opportunities within the organization. So that's the second mindset. Now, the last mindset is if you want to say, you know what, this is a means to an end until I get this baby up and running, and I'm going to roll off. And I call that kind of a mindset, your job is actually your angel investor. And that's where I am. My company, right, my corporate career is now my angel investor. It is my main bread and butter as I grow my company. And so therefore, and my company knows this, and I'll get into that as well. So they know when I went to them and I told my boss, I said, at that point, the whole company didn't know what I was doing. And it's so funny because it feels like everybody at the company knows what I'm doing now. But I went to my boss and I said, well, because they sent me down to Florida to do all this leadership, second line leadership development and all this kind of stuff. And we had to do all these little exercises, you know, what they do for corporate leaders, right? And so within 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I went back and I was like, man, I really don't even want that opportunity anymore. I don't want to be chosen for second line leadership. So I got up enough courage and I went in during my one-on-one. She was going over all of my, all my information, talk about the feedback from the development and all that kind of stuff. And I said, you know what? I don't want to be on the promotability list anymore. She almost had a meltdown. So she started pushing stuff away from her desk. She's like, what's going on? Because the first thing she thought I was going to quit. But I had made up in my mind, and this is the next thing that you all have to decide where you want to be with your career in corporate America. I decided I no longer wanted to get on the wheel of trying to prove myself in corporate America to climb up their ladder. I sincerely chose that I wanted to become the CEO of my own career. Entrepreneurship is a career. And then develop my own company, because here's my own personal story. I got tired of proving myself. I'm just going to make it plain. I got tired of it. Now, when others who didn't look like me had a third of my experience and would automatically get tapped on the shoulder and moved on. But they kept saying, you need a CPCU, you need an AIC, you need a CLU, you need to work in corporate in Bloomington, Illinois. I did all of that and then some. And then they sent me down to Florida, and then they still said, oh, you know what? We got to wait for a couple of more months. I said, y'all forget you. I'm tired of this. And when I see people half my age, less than half my experience, or again, who did not look like me, get the opportunity. So that unfortunately happens in corporate America. And that was my plight at that moment. And I just said, you know what? I don't have to prove to you that I can lead at a higher level because I can lead my own company. So that's what I did for myself. So when I pulled myself off of that promotability list and really shifted my focus to be entrepreneurial, the job became my ends to a means and became my what I call it, my angel investor. And then when my boss found out what I was doing, then, because I'll tell you the funny story a little bit later, but it was like, oh, and you're able to get the results that we need. And I want you to hang your hat on that, because that is going to be key. So those are the three mindsets. Do you just want some extra money for a certain specific purpose, eliminating the bill, putting a child through college, maybe adding more into your 401k savings, something like that? Number two, do you want to use it to develop your skills so you can climb the corporate ladder? Because there are a lot of skills that you will develop in running your own business that will increase your business acumen, because the way that you get promoted in corporate America is more about your business acumen and not always your soft skills. So that was always something of interest to me. I've always been very heavily into business acumen and understanding how to run a business so I can climb the corporate ladder. And then when I kept running up against all of these, butt this and jump through this hoop, go through this wheel, do a cartwheel, do a backspin, all this kind of stuff, I said, you know what, deuces. I was done. And so therefore, I literally, when I walked out of my boss's office, I felt a weight lifted that I didn't have to, be so corporate-y and all this kind of stuff, doing all, saying the right thing, getting on all these projects. I was like, boy, get out of here. I'm about to do my own thing. So I walked into my own full corporate self in my own business, CEO, and I became fully a CEO. And that's what I put my energy into. Although I made sure I did my job, but I put my energy toward that. So I just wanted to make sure that you get the understanding of the mindset where you are and putting yourself in those categories. Now, next is we're going to talk about minding your business, how to stay compliant with your job and your business. One of the things that I've seen over my career is people getting walked out of the door because they were not minding their corporate business while they were doing whatever they were doing. Selling on the job, putting literature on people's desk, almost making people feel like they had to, buy their products, and also just doing things on the company computer. And when you're doing all of that kind of stuff and you're running your business while you at their business, you can get in a lot of trouble. So I knew right away, I do not want that to happen to me. And plus, that's not my computer. A lot of times people don't understand the work computer is theirs. Don't do your banking on there because they don't need to have assets because they track everything. They don't need to know how much in your account. Don't do your LinkedIn on there. Don't do your Facebook on there if you have access. Leave their computer alone. So that's number one. Keep your nose clean. And if somebody reaches out to you on the computer about your business, which I get often, I take their cell phone number because somebody had told them about me at the company and I don't even know half these people. So then I text them. I said, hi, thank you for your email. I'm going to delete it. Here's my information. Here's my link to my calendar and get on my calendar. So I delete it. So they don't see me having this conversation with potential clients on their computer. So I make sure I do that. So that's one of the ways I stay compliant. Another thing is I let HR know. I let HR know everybody has code of conduct, right? Every year you have to fill that information out. I make sure that I am having a conversation. Now, one of the things that they said, my code of conduct is not I don't have to list it because in the actual business that I'm in. Now, what our company is in. So we're in insurance. I am not an insurance agent on the side. I am not working for another insurance company in the claims department or anything like that. I don't do anything. My business has nothing to do with that. So they said, thank you for letting us know, but you are in compliance because you are not doing something that would, like if I had a body shop and I work at the company. So therefore, there are some people who husbands or wives own body shops, or even attorneys who are married to attorneys that we deal with and hire their firms. They have to disclose that information so that there's no proprietary information being exchanged and they're not doing anything wrong. So they have to do that. They were like, no. So when I put all my stuff down, they said, Nicolette, this is you in compliance, ain't got nothing to do with us. We don't care what you do. And I'm like, okay, fine. So therefore, I made sure that they know. So make sure your HR department knows. Now, if you work in HR and you're trying to do something like me in a career development space, resume writing and stuff like that, that's something that you will have to let your HR department know and also discuss that to see if that's against the compliance. And because mine is not against any kind of code of conduct or any compliance, my LinkedIn, when you go there, you see everything about iRock Development Solutions, LLC, doing business as iRock Resumes. And then, oh, and by the way, I work at the other company as well. So therefore it's on there. And one of the things that was so funny, I saw that my, because they can snoop, the compliance department. So I saw that they were looking at my stuff because I wanted to make sure that I did not say that I don't work at the organization anymore, because a lot of people are shocked that I actually work full time as a corporate leader and have a full team. So yeah, but it's still showing that presence. So they can't say anything. And plus they don't pay for my LinkedIn. So that's another thing. I pay for my own LinkedIn. Now, if your company pays for your LinkedIn, I will recommend that you get another LinkedIn so that you can pay for and that you can put your own stuff on there so you're compliant. But still, if you're still working at a company, please make sure that you show that you're still working on there. And all my clients know, not only the ones that I get internally, but also externally, because when they book an appointment with me, my appointments are after work because the majority of my clients work. So I can't talk to them until after working on the weekends. So make sure that you're doing that as well. Let me see. And use your time wisely. That's one of the things when you're minding your business, use your time wisely. I make sure when I am at work, I am at work. I don't do anything else. I am focused. My calendar's blocked out. It just says everything I have to do. I'm giving my attention to my staff. I'm giving my attention to my manager, my peers, or whatever else, so I can be successful there. Because what I want to make sure of is that I am minding their business so they can stay out of mine. Simple as that. So I'm going to make sure. So when I went to one of my one-on-ones with my boss, didn't know that she had found out, because some of my peers from Chicago came for some training and they went over to her house, because we used to all work in Chicago together. Even my boss who relocated here to Dallas with me. And so they ended up drinking a little bit too much. And one of my peers was coming after me and seeking me out purposely to do his resume. And they said, well, Jim looking for you. He's looking for you. And so, okay, finally get to Jim. And Jim walks in my office and he sits back. I need you to do my resume. I'm like, how did you know I do resumes? He said, everybody know you do resumes. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay. I said, we can't talk about it in State Farm office. So I took a little sticky. I said, call me. Here, my number. Then we start talking about, we're so just playing it off or what have you. So, and then they went over to her house and then they told it. So when I was in my one-on-one meeting, she put up all my results and all this kind of stuff. So she said, so, and I'm like, okay, well, what's that about? She said, I hear you own and run a resume writing business. I sat up straight. I'm like, I can make a choice and say no or whatever, play it off or be for real. That's me. I'm for real. So I say, yes, I do. And I absolutely love it. She said, oh, now I understand. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, well, okay. So she looked at my results. She said, all your results are good. Blah, blah. So she didn't have anything to say because I made sure that my results spoke for themselves. So therefore, it wouldn't be a distraction. And now I have the reputation in the organization. Even my claim manager just told me last week, they're like, man, you are doing so well with everything on LinkedIn. You're doing all this kind of stuff. They know. And my new boss said, I heard you have a really good business and it doesn't interfere with your job. I said, yeah, I know y'all be snooping. I had to play it off. I'm like, yeah, I do the right thing. I'm making sure that I do it and I love my business and this is my retirement plan. Y'all, I'm retiring early. in less than 2 years now. I'm out. So, they all know I am out of here. So therefore, making sure that you're being in compliance with that. I want to make sure I'm doing still with my time. Am I still good with my time? And I got one more point. Okay, good. Oh, yeah. I'm on good time. Okay, good. Okay, now, so I told y'all all that background, how I got started, and what I do to stay compliant, and all those, the mind shift. Now I want you to understand, don't follow the squirrel. I want you to really think about focus. Slow and steady always wins the race. Now, if I did not work full time for corporate America, my business will have grown much quicker. And what I did find is that there are going to be a lot of get rich quick, and you go on YouTube, you got some pop up, and they showing they Lamborghinis and all this kind of stuff. You know what? That's for that not to say that can't happen, but don't get caught up in that kind of stuff. Think about what it is you want and develop and focus on the things that make the most sense with your time. So therefore, basically, don't believe the hype and don't jump ship before you are ready. That's another thing, because I will always get the question when people see how my business is doing and all this kind of stuff. Why don't you just leave? Why don't you just jump ship? That's because I'm very strategic. I'm very mindful, and your sister over here is all about her money, right? So I am making sure that I am financially sound. I've seen too many businesses, and going back to that stat of businesses failing in the first year is because of not minding the financial business for yourself. So therefore, jumping ship and saying, yes, I'm going to do that, it's more than a notion, because at a corporate career, in the corporate world, you have a time that you need to report, a time that you need to leave. Some of you may be salaried and you can, fluctuate that. That's fine, but you're still are responsible for some things. But when you become on your own, that structure is removed. And if you don't have any kind of systems in place and processes in place on how you run your business, working for a corporation, you're not going to be able to run your business outside of it. So if you're not strategic, you're not organized, you're not detail oriented, and you're not good with your time management without somebody telling you what you have to do, you want to get those in line first before you do that. And you want to make sure you have a great nest egg to fall back on, because that's another thing I see. People don't have money in the bank, and then they're running back to the company. One of my cohort peers, and I got to give a shout out to the 10,000 Small Business Initiative by Goldman Sachs. I just graduated from that program in April, the best program ever. And you have to have a certain amount of income in order to get into the program, but you're talking about eye-opening. Oh my gosh, y'all. And so therefore, one of my peers in that cohort did that thing. And she said, I wish I would have did what you did, stay with my company, built my business first, and then jump. She said, I jumped too fast. And now I'm struggling getting clients. I'm not able to pay bills and all this kind of stuff. And she and them having to go back to corporate America. And that's what you don't want unless you have financial support. Sometimes you do, you may have financial support. You may have a spouse that's financially able to support you. You may have, come into some kind of money or what have you, but make sure that you have at least your corporate salary set to the side, if not near it, to be able to manage your expenses before you jump ship. So growing your business slow and steady is fine. Again, mind your business and tell everybody to get out of yours. I don't tell people that, but I'm like, I'm just going to do me. And then I tell people, I've never said that I didn't like my job. I love what I do. I'm good at what I do. And I am, and this job is so second nature to me. I could do it with my eyes closed. And that's what I told my boss, because he was like, okay, he said, and you don't want to go up the ladder? I said, no. I said, I don't want to do anything like that. I said, this position, I have to be honest, is no challenge for me, because I kind of slipped out. I told him I was retiring at 55. I'll be 54 in November, y'all. But anyway, and he said, whoa, what's going on? And so I said, yeah, because this job, this role for me, I'm speaking about me, is no longer a challenge for me. I could do it with my eyes closed. And so therefore I'm comfortable. Hence is why I told him, I said, this is why I'm able to run my business so effectively, because I don't have the stress in my job, because I've mastered it. I have a system in place. I have a process in place. And y'all, I'm a delegate par excellence. My team, I leverage the skill set on my team. And this is how I do it for them. I'm developing you, and which I am. So I give them, I call them my little assistant managers, and I delegate a lot of stuff that they can do. So therefore, while they doing all their stuff, I'm able to do my work to keep my results good, and then they get their results, and everybody's happy. And so therefore, you got to think about that. So slow and steady always wins a race. And another reason that I personally did not just jump ship, it's because I have not only that I love my job, but I also have am blessed to have a pension that I am going to be able to get. And I have a 401k, and I'm trying to get to that 30th year. So it's clean, and then I can leave. So my first retirement day is next December 31st when I turn 55. That's my first retirement day. And that's not quite 30 years. I turn 30 years May 25th of 2024, and that'll be 30 years, and I may stay until then. And then I'm going to pull the trigger. First thing I was going to do is do July 4th. And then somebody said, no, why don't you do Juneteenth? So y'all, Juneteenth will be my freedom day. So that's what I'm working for. I was like, yeah, why not? So therefore, someone said it's okay. So do what's best for you. Organize your time. Be mindful of the company that's paying your bills, and honor them. And I learned a lot by working for a Fortune 39 organization. And as a first line leader at that organization, if I was to walk out this door and go to another organization, I could automatically walk in as a director because of the type of work that we do and how massive what we do. Although we have a lot of layers in our organization, at a smaller company, everything I know is at director level and above at another company. And y'all know how I know this? Because I've written resumes for one of my peers, and that's what happened. So I know that. And so anyway, my company, again, they don't care. So my company knows what I do, and they're supportive. One of my bosses is basically still one of my biggest cheerleaders. So if you all see Brian Matthews, that's on my my chat. Good job, Nicolette. He is a biggest. He tell people about my books. He said, y'all gotta buy your books. Y'all gotta do this. So he's a great supporter. So I have a lot of great support with my leadership, with my peers, and even my team. They know what I do, and it's really an honor and a blessing to be able to do that, and I count it as such. So I'm always going to honor, and as the Bible always tells us, to honor those who have rule over you. So I'm always going to honor that, always honor and respect my leaders, and do what's right by them, so the Lord can bless me and grow my business. And y'all, keep your blinders on. Don't be looking at it on nobody else. That's one thing I'm good at. I don't care what nobody else is doing. I focus on me and what I need to do for myself. Okay. So I think I am out of time, but I hope this was helpful. I know I talk fast, but I want to get a lot in and really show you all the passion I have for this, because you can do this. I have my timer on too, girl.
Great. Thank you so much, Nicolette. I love the energy and the information that you provided. If you go to the next slide, we're going to have a question and answer session. But I have a few questions, because I know that we've spoken, and I want to just kind of ask a few questions that I think would be beneficial to the group. For one, so you've been doing your business about 7-8 years, correct?
8 years. It became 8 years, May 25th this year.
Great. So about 8 years. And in that time, can you tell the group how you've grown your business, how many employees you have, and also the Goldman Sachs? I know you've gone through that small business program, and you've received level of benefit through them, through, I believe, interns. Can you just give us information about the...
Okay, I'm sorry. I love it. I get so excited.
Can you give us information about your team structure now, and also what you've received by going through the Goldman Sachs program?
Okay, yeah. So my business has grown, again, slowly but steadily. I was a one-person show for about 5 years. Then I was able to hire my first person, and seeing the benefit that actually can multiply myself. That's another thing, y'all. Hire people sooner than later. So I did that. And ever since I hired my first 3 staff members, I started, I've never looked back. So now I'm up to, 1, 2, 3, I have two full-time, I have an intern, and I have about 4 to 5 contractors that I use. And I use them as needed. So my team is, shoot, I keep losing count because I keep getting them. But through the intern, through the 10,000 small business, I was able and blessed to get an intern, and this intern is working on my marketing plan. And she goes to the Dallas College, and so therefore that's one of the things that the Goldman Sachs is. Now, when you go through the program, they don't give you financial any kind of money, but what they do is pay your intern for you. They get paid like $20 an hour or something like that to work 20 hours for you per week. That's free money. That's money I do not have to pay. And then I'm very savvy because one of the things I have is an IROC staffing a leg to my business, which makes sense. And I help small businesses hire inexpensive virtual assistants that are overseas. So that's what the bulk of my staff is made of, is virtual assistants from $10 to $15 an hour. And the more the $15 an hour are my graphic designer, who's creating all of my content for my academy. So my resume writing course, my interview prep course, and my resume writing business course. So he's doing all of that. So that's a little bit more expensive, but hey, you can't get that nowhere.
Right, exactly. So you have 2 full-time employees, right? So again, as she said, she delegates a lot of work to 2 full-time employees, and it took her 5 years to do that. But now you're seeing the fruits of all the work that you put in.
Yeah. And my director of operations, if y'all ever email, you hear something from Ian, that's my boo. He is my director of operations. And one day he will be my VP. Yep.
So before I have one other question or comment. So one of the things that I noticed when I first worked with you, Nicolette, is how organized you were. And you mentioned that we were talking about, okay, our marketing material, what we wanted. And you was like, okay, I have this picture already. I have a 250 word bio. I have a 50 word bio, 100 word bio. You had all those things already ready. So what that told me is that you had systems in place. Yes. Can you give any insight on how you got your systems in place to make things easier for you?
Yes. And yeah, that's one of the things that I've always been as an organized person, time management. That's always been one of my skill sets. And also one of the things that, and it was identified by corporate leaders. And one of the things, the biggest compliment I got from my corporate leaders is how strategic I am. And he was like, you're very strategic. I said, I am? Yeah, because you know, I'm thinking I'm just organized and time management. He said, no, the way that you strategize and put these things in place, this is how you get the results that you get. And that's why I'm called the Get Higher Strategist. And I took the what is it called? The strength finders. And that was my number one strength. But what I do, I'm not only time management and organized, I'm strategically so. So therefore, I use my strategy in order to figure out, okay, what do I need to do? How do I need to do it? And I maximize my time. Case in point, this past Sunday, my daughter had to sing with the Marquand Chorale. So she sings with them. And so therefore, while she's here, we got to be there at 8:15 in the morning. And I'm like, I don't want to do 2 cars. So and meet her there when it starts at 10:30. I said, well, I'll go with you. And you know what? I went over to Starbucks. I had a meeting with a potential a coaching client who's going to come on to help me so I can help her with her business, and a friend of mine. I said, y'all know how to play around. I maximized my time. I sat in that Starbucks, did my meeting, had my coffee, shut down, and went to church. So therefore, that's what I do. So I'm very strategic, and I look for those pocket of opportunities to maximize them.
Right. And that organization, I think, if I just think about it, if someone had to ask me for a bio, you know, I don't have a 250 word or 50.
I got them all broken down. I got them all the way up to 500. You want your 50 more? You got to, and I got one for speaker and I got one for print. So I took the time and I wrote all of those out. So when I go to my Google Drive, y'all should see my Google Drive. It is on point. When you have my Google Drive, my assistant knows, my speaker, my director of speaking and events, she knows where to go. I don't even have to do it. They can just go and grab it and put it out there.
And so just putting those processes and things in place just saves you time, energy, and money, right? By having those things. And that's what successful businesses do. I know working in corporate America, we have templates for everything. We already know what we need to use, the PowerPoint presentation, the color coding, the processes. And I think it's very important to make sure that as a small business, as an entrepreneur, that we follow those models of business that are successful. Just because you're small doesn't mean that you know, eliminate those things.
Mhm.
So I do want to open it up for questions. I know there may be some questions out there. So is there anyone that have any questions? If you want to raise your hand or just come off mute.
Jared raised his hand.
Hey,
Jared?
yes, Nicolette, this was amazing. I was so blown away with your authenticity, your energy. I loved it. And the advice that you gave was very timely. I heard several people say that in the chat. The question I have, and I was actually talking to Jessica about this yesterday. So I, like you, also work in a corporate leadership position in diversity and inclusion, and I would like to start doing more work on the side. But unlike you, I also want to work in diversity and inclusion on the side. And so what I heard you say was, if there's that conflict of interest, then there needs to be a conversation with your leadership, and you have to be careful about how you present that online. And so I have a business, an LLC, that I have kept very quiet because up until this point, I haven't wanted to present any conflict of interest. So do you have any advice on how to move forward? I would like to grow that side of the business, but I don't want to do it at the expense of my full-time.
Yeah, and then what you're going to have to do is first go to your direct leadership. And do you have a mentor that you can talk to first as well to see because you want to know the players and the lay of the land before you have that conversation, so you can strategically have it with them. So do you have anybody like that you can bounce it off?
Yeah, I have a sponsor at my job, and I've talked to her about this, and she gave me the advice that I need to be very careful. And to your point about having 2 different laptops, I always have 2 laptops with me, just in case.
People don't even know I own a purse because I have my backpack. Because I'm like, I got all these nice purses. They get old because I don't even carry them. And I carry my book bag everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was her advice, was just be very careful about it. But she suggested that I not put it on my LinkedIn and not really publicize it for the time being, at least.
Yeah. And so therefore, if that's what they're saying that for you to do, yes, but there's also a different way to do it, because one of the things I think about are niches. Do you have a niche that you can do that's not in alignment with what the job does? And if you can focus on that, I think you will be able to separate the two. Not to say that you can't do all the other stuff that you do now in your full-time job. You could bring those back. But what you want to do is see how you can grow that niche first. And then you're going to have to make to see which one you want to fall into. Do you just want extra money? Do you want to learn it so you can climb higher as a DEI leader? Or do you like, you know what, I think I'm good enough that I now can get my own contracts. So that's going to be something that you're going to have to decide on which leg and direction you want to go so you can build it. Because I'm telling you, bro, when I told my boss I am done, I mean, I put all my energy, all my talents and everything into my business. And I even did a test for myself. I said, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And my peer, she was volunteering for all this stuff, And I said, I'm just gonna do my job. I showed up, did my job, and I went home. That's all I did. She was livid that she didn't get a high raise, and we actually got the same raise. I said, I got the same thing as you, and I didn't do nothing all year but my job. So you have to think about, what do you want to do and where you want to put your energy? When I saw that I could put my energy into growing my own, that's what I did. So I would say niche, see what you can do, and only focus on that niche until you make the decision on how far you want to go with it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great advice. That niche is great advice. So maybe something that you're not doing in your job, so it wouldn't be a conflict, but still applicable. So great answer. Any other questions? Any hands raised? I did have a question in chat
right now.
I see that. About how did you get the interns again from Charlene?
Oh, yes, and this from 10,000 Small Business. One of the benefits after you graduate from the program is that you can sign up for what they call Goldman Sachs Fellows. And so you draw up your own job description, and then you apply. And if they have the talent available, they match you with the talent. And so it was wonderful. You draw what you're wanting to do, write up your own job description, you interview them, you do all of that as well, interview them. And if it's a go, then they come on. Mine started officially on the 12th, which was just Monday. So yeah, so she's getting acclimated to our business systems, all of our processes and everything. And we already have a marketing plan in place, and she's a marketing major. So she's going to be reviewing that marketing plan to implement that. So all that stuff, most of that social media and all that kind of stuff, I don't do that, y'all. Nope, I got people, y'all. So that's how I can do my job. All that stuff that go on, I got people. Yep.
And thank you. I see Erica came off mute, and Erica has been having a lot of comments about Goldman Sachs in the chat. So Erica, would you like to say something?
Okay, full disclaimer. I know Nicolette through Goldman Sachs. I've been in the National Black MBA Association for 10 or 15 years. So I was already a member. And I told her, I said, I see that you're speaking today. I'm actually the alumni manager for Goldman Sachs 10KSB. So I can come to promote, but everything she's saying is true. And I matched her with her intern, and the interns are free to her, but we pay them $20 an hour. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good program. And we have a cohort that's going on right now, and we have 30 people in that cohort. 16 of them are African-American, and 14 of those are Black women. And there's so much Black girl magic happening in there. I mean, y'all, like, it's really amazing. And just all types of businesses, construction, like Nicolette is doing resume writing. Yeah. We have my hairstylist, Latara Edmonds. She's always on Good Day, Texas. She's one of our alumni graduates. So yes, like, it's a free program. It's valued at over $60,000. We had a big summit in DC. Just so fun. We had everybody there. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Everybody you can think of. George W. Bush. Like, we had all of the speakers. Chris Paul, the basketball player. Anybody you can think of, they were there. So again, this is a free program. And they also have a new program specifically for it's 10,000 Black in Business, which is Black women in business. So you can look at either one of those programs. I work there, but I'm not selling you. I was already in the National Black MBA Association. It really is free. Like, I'm just being honest with y'all. Like, they really grow these businesses, and just me seeing it, I've only been there for 3 months now. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, seeing how their profits are increasing, just doubling. I'm like, whoa. So it's free. I don't get anything for that. I'm the alumni manager, so I'm not outreach, but I just wanted to extend that because it's a free resource. And like, Nicolette gets this amazing intern that she doesn't even have to pay for. We're paying them. So
yes, it is like gold. And
I'll put my email address if y'all want it, but I didn't want to come on here like I'm selling you anything, because that's not what
No, thank you so much, Erica. And I saw that you put a link in the chat. Is that the link to apply to be in part of the program?
Yes. So when you go, you have to apply to get into the program. And I mean, we fly in people from Boston, and Nicolette can speak to it. It's a pretty rigorous interview process. Yeah. We are going to interview. So it's not like we just let anybody in. Mm-hmm. So your business you have to have been in business at least 2 years. You have to have a revenue of at least $75,000 or more a year. And you need at least 2 employees, and you can be one of those. So yeah, I'll put my email address. Again, I get nothing for sharing this, but I will share it.
And then I saw
you can just put your email address and your link again, Erica, because it's kind of further up in the chat.
Okay, I'll do that.
And someone asked also, how do they get the intern? You have to be a graduate of the program to get access to the fellows. Yeah, so you have to do that. But that program actually tore off a lot of Band-Aids and from all of and I was so funny because I was cracking up, Erica. I looked around my peers. I said, I got to be the poorest business here, because I was looking at some major players in the room. And I was like, what in the world? And you learn so much about your business that make you even better. So when Jessica and I were talking, I said, girl, my business is projected to make $500,000. I credit the 10,000 Small Business Association Small Business Goldman Sachs program for helping me do that. I'm telling you, it is the most powerful. And also, Erica, I'm waiting on to give my feedback if I'm gonna be a mentor for the Black in Business. So I applied to be a mentor. I wanted to be the business advisor, but it's doing my work time, so I can't do that. But eventually, so yeah.
And Charlene just asked about Black in Business. Nicolette, do you have more information about that one? That one I don't know as much about.
No, oh no, Erica, you just went through that one, didn't you, Erica?
I haven't done it. That was Andrea. She went through Black in Business.
Right. So yeah, I don't have the information on that one. That's literally fairly new. And for what I understand, they have a backlog or waiting list. So the sooner you can get on that, the better. I would go to Goldman Sachs and just put in their search Black in Business. And that's specifically for African-American women. That wasn't available when I went through the 10,000 Small Business. I think they started rolling out as I was graduating from the 10,000 Small Business one.
Perfect. So I think there are questions in the chat that may be geared towards you, Erica, but we're gonna keep going because we have a few more things to cover. Next slide, please.
All right, so here is how I can help you. If you want to get in on a cohort to ask for me to teach you how to do your business, and I have 11, first I said 10, but I have 11 huge topics, 2 hours on a Saturday, beginning the 24th. If you are interested in getting into that, where I walk you through everything, it's all geared toward side hustles, side businesses. It's not, but that can grow into a major business. But if you're interested in either starting, infusing your business and actually getting on the right track about your business, join me in this and I will be taking you through the cohort. It's called an intensive. It's 4 Saturdays, committed 9 to 12. Yep, I'm gonna mess up your Saturday morning, get you some coffee and come on this virtual with me. And I'm gonna go through some heavy things. It's gonna be a group coaching style where you can ask questions. I'm gonna give you some access to some information. I'm gonna show you all my business, all the stuff that I do to make you successful, with the goal of once you finish this intensive, you should be able to start your business or infuse your business within 30 days post-program. So I encourage you to do that. And for the first 10 people that sign up for the September one, you will get a business planner, as well as my new t-shirt line, my I Rock swag that's going to be coming out, called I Rock My Side Hustle. So you'll get a t-shirt for that as well. So it'll be a digital planner that you can use on your iPad, or you could download it, because I do both. I am all about planners, y'all. I like to write stuff down and I have my iPad. So you could do either one. You could just do that code. And if you think about the 11 topics, divide it up, you're not paying much and you will get the return on your investment. If you don't want to do it all at one time, I do have a 2-pay option as well. And I would dig deep. I'll give y'all a lot of stuff that you could just get up and run that you don't have to recreate the wheel. I don't want y'all to do that, because trust me, I've done it all. I've failed a lot and I've learned a lot and I've fallen forward.
Great. And so I know that this is one option. I did want to, and Nicolette, we haven't talked about this, so sorry to put this on you. We have our conference coming up in 2 weeks. Really in a week and a half, which is our National Black MBA Conference in Atlanta, where there's a lot of recruiting, a lot of like job fair there, career fair. So there may be people on this call that need resume assistance before then. So I'm not sure. I know that, they can go to your site, but just as a part of this event, people may reach out to you for that, or if they can reach out to you, I'm not sure how you feel about that, but there could be an option.
Yeah.
If we do have a big event coming up.
Okay, and here that information is too. If you go down to my business card, skew that, go ahead and you'll have access to all of my information, my website and everything. The job landing packages are right there, so you can actually order that. And I also want to invite you all to my free iRock community. And in that community, it's called the Break Room. I have you got ERGs, employee resource groups. I created career resource groups in my break room. And so I have one specifically for side giggers. So if you want to join, I have one group for marketers. I have one group for engineers and of course, insurance. all of those. So it's a brand new group. I literally just launched it formally on Monday. So you get in, and I'm always going to have some pop-up trainings and different things like that to help you along the way. And then eventually I'll have different things that you can join, just like this one will be my first cohort, and walking people through on how to start a side gig and be successful while you work a corporate career. And I already teach my resume writing business course, and the ladies who took that, within 30 days, they got their investment back, and they are thriving with their resume writing business. I said, I'm gonna teach y'all everything so you don't have to, fall into the same trap. And it was the same 4-week intensive, and they were like, oh my gosh, this value was way more than I expected. And that's what I like to give, because I really want you all to be successful also while I run a business, because I want to be paid for my time. So that's why I'm in business. So go ahead and join those as well. And I'll ask you some questions on the break room to get you involved. And we're going to have all kinds of threads. And it was like so awesome, my little community. And I did that because on social media, they don't show you all the stuff. You all don't get the information. And people are like, I didn't see that. I didn't hear about that. So go ahead and join me on that. So again, thank you, Jessica. This has been absolutely fabulous. I'm glad the information was helpful, and y'all can tolerate my craziness.
Thank you so much, Nicolette. You have been amazing. A lot of valuable information here for everyone on the call. There is no one way to be successful, and this is one where you have proven that you can have your side hustle turn career entrepreneurship and be in corporate America. So we really appreciate your time, and thank you for the information. I think we have one more slide here. Mm-hmm. I did want to pitch that, for one, we do have the conference coming up, National Black MBA Conference coming up in I think September the 27th, I believe, or 26th. That's coming up. So if you haven't registered, if you're planning to go, we do have a group meet if you would like to join that, so that you can be engaged in what we're doing. But also North Texas Giving Day, which is a day of donating money to different organizations, and National Black MBA DFW chapter is one of those that we offer a lot of scholarships to high school students. And we do have Jared, our chair, on if he would like to say anything. I know we're at time, but Jared, if you want a 5 to 10 second pitch, please feel free.
5-second pitch. Go give to National Black MBA DFW chapter on North Texas Giving Day. You can give now.
Thank you. That's it. That's great. Oh yeah, and then Leaders of Tomorrow, which is a big program that we have, which we take high school students through. They meet monthly about different things in business, different things, professionalism. I don't know if our lead is on, Daryl is on, but just Leaders of Tomorrow, high school students getting mentored by Black professionals, and we bring speakers in and just really help them. They can compete in case competitions. So all of the money that's donated go towards these events, the scholarships and the Leaders of Tomorrow. So it's really helping our Black youth excel. And so one day they'll probably be entrepreneurs, corporate, or maybe corporate entrepreneurs. So I just want to thank everyone for attending today. This has been fantastic. I have learned a lot. Nicolette, you are a joy, and I'm so happy that we've connected.
Thank you so much.
I know that everyone will benefit from this, and hopefully you will as well. But thank you everyone for attending.
And you know what, Jessica, I wanted to say one thing. The reason you and I connected is because of the pitch contest at 10,000 Small Business, because I was the first one that pitched, and I literally wrote that pitch 15 minutes before I had to get up. But anyway, it was like,
shout out to Christina. Christina, she's one of the chairs here. Strategic partnership,
and she invited me, and it was so funny because I got up because my peers were having a fit. Like, you didn't work on yours. I said, girl, I got my stuff. I wrote that out, pitched it. I got 100% play funding. Everybody funded me. I was like, thank you. And they said, I can't believe it. When you know your stuff, you know your stuff.
Right, exactly. And that's why you're in the place that you're in, and you're projected to do $500,000 next year. So that's why. Yes. So thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And again, we have Nicolette. If you want to go back to the contact information slide, just so he can be there.
Nicolette, connect with me on LinkedIn, all that kind of good stuff. Please.
Right. So please, and thank you all for attending, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Virtual hugs, everybody. Bye.